Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Actors del Arte Ensemble of West Michigan. And we are performing a satire comedy called The Talk Show. And I will be presenting our actors, alphabetical order. And I'm going to start with Shar Ambrose as Tilly, Greg Carrillo as Pete, and Mark Christo as our rocker the storm, Randy Belichewski as Stan Panic, the talk show host, Brenda Ganon as Gina Cottrell, the movie star. Byron Keys will be reading the Senator, as well as Jim Thornton, animal trainer. Kathy McFarlane, Sylvia, well-known author. Raquel Rivera as Silky, the co-host, and she will also be a mysterious little blonde. Now, Jonathan Williams as Mike, the stage manager. Now, Jonathan works, and I think it's a CEO of 7 Streams Productions, and I believe that's in Detroit, Michigan. He does all kinds of things as a green screen and all kinds of equipment and stuff at his studio. If anybody listening and watching this would like to contact him, go to 7 Streams, that's plural, 7 Streams, PROD for production, at Gmail. That is 7 Streams, PROD for production at gmail.com. And he will contact you. And Jonathan has been instrumental in helping me cast this show. Thank you, Jonathan. The model will be played by yours truly and the narrator, Patricia Rose. Now, I say we can get started. And we're going to open with telling you a little bit about Stan Panic, the host of the talk show.
Some people remember when Stan Panic started in the business, working as a grip on the show America's Interview. He got along pretty well with the crew. It was rugged work, little pay. Stan had dreams of having his own show. After all, he had a theater degree and 50 cents. He had imaginative ideas for the sets and even designed some ingenious tools to make the movie sets around, or to move the movie sets around a lot easier. He used to go to all the new shows on Broadway, getting bit parts in some of the off-Broadway shows. He could sing, he could dance, and play the piano and the drums. It didn't hurt. He was 6 foot tall and handsome. He was married to his one-time college sweetheart, if you want to call her that. She had big plans that didn't include Stan. As fate would have it, they never had kids. His 1-bedroom apartment above an Irish bar was filled with theater memorabilia from different shows. He ate carry-out most days. Grabbed some Irish Hass at the bar, washed down by a Guinness. His wife divorced him, moving up the food chain. She was married to an avant-garde director from France. He was a bit eccentric, and so was his work. So how did all this get started with Stan winning an Emmy for his series, The Talk Show, you ask? Well, a few years back, he was working on the sets of a woman's evening makeover show, starring the talk of the town, Blythe Dancer, a popular talk show hostess with the mostest. Right during the show, one of her guests lost her cool, did not like her makeover, and started pulling Blythe's hair, a $500 wig that went sailing across the stage, landing on an audience member's lap. Soon the whole room was in chaos. The stage manager knew it, his job, was losing it, screaming, "Go to break, go to break." Stan saw his opportunity and jumped into action. Grabbing the mic and facing the camera as a distraught Blythe was walked off the stage to her dressing room. He talked directly to the audience, got them laughing with his made-up monologue about all of this had been rigged for, well, better ratings. He walked out to the audience, talking personally to audience members, promising them a free lunch at a popular bistro. The audience was loving it, applauding his easygoing style and funny one-liners. Soon, the show was saved, and that night was a big hit. The New York Times picked up the story. They tracked Stan down to his walk-up apartment. Reporters everywhere. Soon, some TV execs wanted to know more about him. He was on one magazine cover next to Blythe and on, you guessed it, talk shows all over town. Before the month was out, he was a household name. Then came his big break when he was asked to sub for a vacationing TV host. By then, everyone knew him and the ratings went through the roof. He was signed up for a trial show of his own. Well, and the rest is history. That was the beginning of Stan's career.
Scene 2, the green room. One evening, as two guests wait in the green room to appear on Stan's show, the actress was busy filing her nails when she noticed a large snake in a cage.
Oh my God, is that lonesome thing real? I hate snakes.
As real as you are, minus the false eyelashes.
Is that supposed to be funny? I failed to see the humor. Stan must be desperate for entertainment, bringing in sideshow acts.
That would explain your being here.
Oh, look here, Charlie. I was doing talk shows before you took your first soiree into Africa.
Jim, and that's safari. My dad was doing this long before I was born.
Ah, what's that smell?
Oh, that? It's Peg, the tip. She gets gassy every time she knows we're doing a live show.
Oh, great. I'm working alongside garden snakes and a monkey. Wait till I see my booking agent.
At least you're in good company. Peg is a chimpanzee, not a monkey. He belongs to the Ite family. And Lester is a python. Didn't you take science in school or go to the zoo?
Oh, I was taking voice lessons and ballet. Theater has always been my first love. I didn't have time for pedestrian activities. I was busy getting an education.
And being a snob, obviously.
Oh, I have to have a cigarette. The smell is nauseating.
He gets up and walks off.
That's why I like animals. They are more intelligent than most people I meet.
Mr. Thornton, you'll be on after halftime. A bunch of commercials lined up. Is your mic okay? Sometimes we have audio issues.
Yeah, it works okay. Di, did you bring in that box of bananas? Can't find them. Peck can get cranky when she doesn't have them to eat. By the way, when does Glamourpuss go on? I hope before me. I don't think I can take much more of her ass.
Miss Contrell bugs everyone. I remember the last time Mr. Panic had her on. She had a fist fight with one of the showgirls from Radio City Music Hall. It was our Christmas special. Security had a field day with that one. It ended up in court. It was a win-win situation. It upped the show's rating and both gals got tabloid news and TV gigs.
Tell people, never will understand them.
You are not the only one. I could write a tell-all on the stuff that goes on back here. Like the night Tom Cruise got stuck in the restroom with one of the usherettes, locked in. They were going to town. He had his mic on and the audience heard everything. We had to break off the lock to get them out of there. By then, it was national news.
Sounds like your job is capricious.
Oh, yeah, I've put out a lot of fires around here. Show people our breed apart. I say, can I get you anything?
I'm all set. Got my special coffee right here.
A little scotch?
Yeah, a little scotch.
All right, I'll give you a 5-minute warning and then you're on.
Thanks.
Mike. Just call me Mike.
Say, Mike, please
Huh?
try and find that box of bananas. I had them delivered to Peg, and she gets cranky when I don't give her one every so often.
Sure, no problem. I'll take a look and get back to you.
Here's my drink. I distinctly ordered a gin and tonic.
Miss, we can't have booze bought back here, and you know it. I'll get you a nice cold bottle of water, okay?
I can't believe you're still working here.
I can't believe Stein has you on, but I guess you're desperate to sell that new film of yours, huh?
Academy Award material. I've been told.
Sure.
He's so rude.
Really? Can you imagine that?
As Mike went to the loading area to look for a box of bananas, he was almost knocked over by a man dressed all in black, running and stumbling down the street carrying what looked like a box. Scene 3, cat fight. Silky's been with Stan since the beginning of his late show career. She's not afraid to speak her mind, dresses all in the latest fashions, a very attractive woman with a Harvard degree.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, New York. Good to see all you here tonight. Just got back from golfing at Palm Springs 28th Annual Charity Drive. Let's say I saw a tiger there.
Let's hear it for your one and only late night talk show host, Stan the Man. Good to have you back.
Oh, it's good to be back. I missed the New York smog. So, Silky, did you miss me?
Sure, boss. Like I missed the hiccups. I'd have to admit, Steve was easy on the eyes and he can sing. People calling him asking for him back.
I'm sure we can arrange that. I appreciate him taking the time out of the busy career to host the show. Sponsor tells me it's time to plug their new product. You have those late night runs for the bathroom, only to find yourself right back there to an hour later. We have the product for you. Plug it. Sleep soundly, knowing no more late night runs. Warning: side effects, constipation. Available at your nearest pharmacy and anywhere medications are sold.
Okay, let's get it on.
Okay, tonight's first guest, some of you know from her hit TV series Wild in New York. Let's hear it for Gina Santini. You look great. Have you lost weight?
Oh no, Stan, I wish I had. And it's Gina Cottrell Santini. He's with Miss Universe Rec.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. The last I heard, they were in Venezuela chasing crocs for his new nature show. I took back my family name.
Well, how many does that make now?
Can you count?
I hear you have a new book out. New movie and a new book?
You go, girl. So what's it all about? I need some mixed reviews on both of them.
You know, New York critics, they'll eat you for lunch. My movie, Lost Girls on the Moon, sci-fi. It's all the rage now.
So are you one of the lost girls?
I hear the costumes are a bit skimpy for frolicking around the moon.
It's sci-fi, Silky. You have to use your imagination.
A lot.
I see your book is a bio. How many diamonds to find the right one?
It's a bit heavy. My agent thinks it would make a great movie. Of course, I'd pick the men. Most of my exes are getting a little worn around the edges.
I heard number 2 was seen in the homeless shelter.
Oh, him. He never was good with money.
Did you have anything to do with that?
Did I tell you I have been invited to Italy for a documentary on my great grandfather? He's a Don, you know.
As in Costa Nostra?
Silky, don't you have to take a cigarette break right now?
Look, you has been. Don't come on the show with your nose in the air. And if I were you, I would be talking to your plastic surgeon. One eye seems to be hanging lower than the other.
Oh, that's it.
Gina reaches over and slaps Silky in the face.
Listen, bitch, you better back off.
Ladies! Ladies, knock it off! Not again! Mike, make sure they're all right.
Stay tuned. We will have more following right after this commercial.
The women return, hair messed up and ice packs to their faces.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Madison Square Gardens Friday Night Fights.
It's not funny. I'm going to sue you, Stan, and just wait till my lawyers get through with you, Selkie.
Oh, come on, kiss and make up. The lawsuit will cost you some money and maybe hurt your careers.
Mike bends over and whispers in Stan's ear.
Well, looks like the phones are ringing backstage. We have the #1 spot right now on the most watched late night. Maybe you should think more about this, Gina. It will boost your book and draw attention to your new movie.
Oh, well,
Would now be a good time to ask for a raise?
Silky, you and I need to talk later.
The two women sat quietly as Stan's next guest was a woman who made celebrity jewelry. The air was tense, but things had calmed down. Later, the audience members flocked on stage to get autographs and copies of Gina's book. Pictures were taken of the two women posed to fight, when all of a sudden both women made a mad dash to the restroom, where they spent a long time. Jim was standing with his python.
Hey, Stan, I thought you forgot something. May.
Later on, in a late night bar.
Look, Stan, we've been together since the fiasco with the Blythe Dancer show. Didn't I introduce you to Mr. Thompson on the PBC network that night?
I know, Silky, you're right. But lucky for you, it worked out with higher ratings this week. But I can't have you flying off the handle with my guest. You have heard of lawsuits. I'm still trying to recover from the time the top executive of PBC fell off the stage.
He was stoned out of his gourd.
And almost ended the show. Seriously, you have to control the temper of yours.
Gina controls enough to make a saint recant.
I get it, but the higher-ups told me to change the situation or I have to let you go.
I got it, boss. No more women's wrestling. But have you ever known me to act this way in all the years you've known me?
I have to admit, Gina, met the match with you. But you usually keep your cool.
Call me crazy, but I think somebody mixed something in my coffee and it wasn't cream.
Are you sure?
Oh, yeah, I am sure. Because before I walked out on stage, I was seeing double and my stomach felt odd. Then it seemed to wear off, but things were intensified when people talked, especially Gina and her big mouth.
Okay, calm down. It's all right. I'll catch you tomorrow for lunch. Get some sleep and I'll call you. Ciao.
The next night's headliner was Safari Jim.
Ladies and gentlemen, my sincere apologies after last night's free-for-all. It messed up the programming. So without further ado, please welcome Safari Jim Thornton. It's been a while. I heard you're back from Australia.
Hi, mate. That I did. We got Baby Roo to show the audience later. And you remember Peg, my temp?
Yes,
She does love to eat. I brought her some extra traits.
I heard you filmed this one into a documentary.
Yeah, we did. Went into the interior and met with some of the Aborigine people. Lovely bunch. Nixnet is picking it up for the fall season. Now, Peg, settle down. Leave Stan alone. He likes your tie.
Huh. Yeah, yes, I have bananas on it. I thought it was appropriate for tonight's show. Didn't you have a big snake you were going to show the audience tonight?
Yeah, Lester. He's been with me for quite a few years. Caught him in the Amazon. Mike, where's Lester's cage?
I found his cage, but no Lester.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't panic, but it seems we have a python loose in the studio.
Oh,
Oh my God.
The more you move around, he will get agitated. Sit perfectly still, and you'll be fine.
Mike, get the medics on the phone. One of our guests just fainted.
Audience members were starting to panic. Jim went down into the audience, looking under seats. He had a special pole to trap him with.
Is his nose cold?
Yes, why?
I think I found him.
The snake started to coil itself around Stan's legs. The cameraman was catching all the action.
Does anyone happen to have fried chicken? He loves it.
I'm on it.
Mike ran off to pick up a chicken order. By the time he returned, Stan's nose was just sticking out.
Look, Lester, what Daddy asked for you. A big bucket of your favorite extra crispy chicken.
As soon as the snake got a whiff of that chicken, he immediately dropped Stan to the floor and devoured the chicken, bucket and all, and Jim got him back in his cage. The audience settled down and applauded Jim for his quick actions. A young singer from one of the lounges highlighted the band that night as the show wound down. Later, after the show, a bigwig from PBC confronted Stan, asking him if he was desperate for ratings, because this was the second night in a row Chaos was on the stage. It didn't hurt ratings because the news media and phones were bugging Stan's studio.
Excuse me, sir, but it's been brought to my attention that someone jerry-rigged the snake's cage. They wanted it to get out. Now, either we have someone trying to sabotage your show, boss, or they have it in for Jim. Either way, we better beef up security around here.
The exec agreed. Scene 4, Sylvia. On the third night, Stan had a famous author trying to reinvent her career with a new book on the market. He was hoping this show would get through without incident.
Tonight's guest needs no introduction. 3 times New York's bestsellers list with a treasure trove of books. Sylvia Holloway. Touted to be one of the era's greats. Welcome back, Sylvia. And how long has it been? You are looking well.
Nice way of saying you don't look too bad for an old broad.
I love a woman who tells it like it is. You know, Sylvia, I've read all of your novels since my teen days.
Really? Well, that is a surprise. So many young women read those ghastly romance novels. So predictable. Girl meets doctor, prince, dentist, college professor, or a soldier off to battle to win her heart. Oh, so anemic.
I have to admit, yours leaves the readers guessing.
Is it true Hollywood is talking about picking up the rights to this latest story?
Well, darling, I do hope so. Do you have any wine?
I am sorry, dear. How about a cola?
Ah, I suppose beggars can't be choosers. There's no class anymore. The world is losing its true man's. When I was young, these old theaters were so elegant, the chandeliers, art on the walls.
Till they started stealing them.
Oh, refreshments of all kinds in the green room. Oh, those were the days.
Things got expensive.
Oh, I suppose. The audience used to dress to the nines to see a show. The old New York, oh, how I miss it. I must say, Silky, you do have exquisite taste in clothes and a Harvard grad. How'd you end up here?
Well, it's the company I keep,
Said Wink against.
and the pay isn't shabby.
I see your story takes readers back to the glory days of Broadway.
Yes, all the glitz, the glamour of opening nights, the wine parties in the foyer, women vying for attention in their satin gowns, throw in a little intrigue.
I hear that one of your characters was an old lover of yours.
No, never tell, darling. Keep you guessing.
Mike hands her a cola with no glass.
Straight for the can. I hope it's cold.
It was a few minutes into the interview that things started to change.
Stan, darling, I think it's about time you changed bands. Get some jazz instead of that watered down pop music. Most of these young performers can't carry a tune in a basket, and their hairdos are atrocious. Holy jeans, really, like the few million dollars they make, they can't afford some new clothes.
She takes another swig from her cola and burps loudly and starts to laugh. Dan was horrified.
Do you feel all right?
Well, I'm not sure. Silky, it's about time you got a decent job instead of prancing around in peekaboo outfits to titillate the male audience. You should really write a memoir about all that crap that goes on around here.
All of a sudden, a baby kangaroo jumps up into her lap.
Oh my good God! Do I have to feed it?
Well, here, Sylvia, let me help you. Mike, call Jim. Tell him we found the baby.
Why, the little bastard peed on my gown.
Miss Holloway, come follow me. I will help clean you up.
The Roo runs off into the audience with Stan trying to catch it. The audience is busting out in uncontrollable laughter.
Commercial break.
Sylvia started to walk out from the restroom, but went running right back in. Later at the studio, the bigwig from PBC came to talk to the staff. He asked Stan what was going on. The ratings were great, but people are complaining that you're doing this on purpose just to get those ratings.
Look, Mr. Broadmoor, I am telling you the truth when I say I don't know what's going on here. After 25 years in the business, I have never had so many things go wrong in a week. Yes, I will be sure things will straighten up. We hired 2 more security guys to walk the premises and check behind stage for any tampering or things that look off.
The CEO reminded him of their upcoming 25-year anniversary special, and things better be in order, or else he could find himself another network because he would be through. Stan promised him he would see to it. That night, he went to Andy's cocktail lounge and drank himself into oblivion, forgetting all about taking Marcy to an exclusive party for their anniversary. Scene 5. The other show. Meanwhile, over on West 54th Street, a small studio set up with a daytime talk show. Only seniors and people laid off from work ever watched it. But Pete Godfrey remembered when his show was #1 on the strip. He had acts from Europe, all the latest singers, dancers, and actors from Broadway hits, headlined his evening show. Now he struggled along and was a bit of a closet drunk. Tilly, his longtime partner and wife, wanted him to retire and they could live in a condo in Florida. City life was getting too stressful for her and her toy poodle, Maxine.
Phew! I can tell you've been smoking those cigars again, Pete.
Billy, let me have one of life's pleasures since you took up sleeping in the back of the house.
You snore and that whiskey breath is atrocious. Poor Maxine has allergies because of you.
30 years, and look at us. Kids don't even stop by anymore.
How can they when they both live in Europe? Did you see in the paper where Stan Panic is planning his 25th year jubilee? He's got all kinds of guests lined up.
Oh, really? I was hoofing it on Broadway stages when he was still in grade school.
Yeah, and it shows.
What do you imply?
Maybe it's time we both did nip and tuck. Hit the spa a few days a week.
Might take a little more than that, darling. Can't we get your sister's kid, Lana, to sit on the show? She can sing and hopefully bring a little eye candy to our set. She's built like a ripe tomato, juicy and sweet.
Hold it right there. That's my niece you're talking about. Show some respect. I've talked to my sis, and she's willing if we provide a contract. She wants to send her to college, so it's going to cost us.
Well, I sent Arte. What's one more?
I pick her wardrobe. You'd have her in a Band-Aid dress, barely enough to cover her essentials.
So, what's wrong with that?
You'll have the old guys falling over their canes.
Yeah, well, it might fill up our seats. If we want to stay open, we have to change our ratings and our lineup. Pinky and her poodles, Franz and his polka band, Lou and his banjo favorites. Enough to put all of New York to sleep.
I suppose you're right there. Pete, I've been meaning to ask you,
Yeah,
where did this large box of bananas come from?
Scene 6, The Storm. The following week went by without a hitch. Things appeared back to normal. The crew was getting the set decked out for the big 25th celebration. Stan had a senator booked for ratings as he was lagging behind in popularity. Also a current rock star that was breaking the charts.
Stan, your girlfriend's on the phone.
Can't she call later? I have to get prepped here for the storm.
You tell her. She sounds PO'd.
Hello, Marcy? No, I didn't forget. Today was our anniversary. Silky, get on the phone for us 24 rolls of champagne and send them to the penthouse. Now. Marcy, darling. No, there must have been a mix-up. I ordered a surprise for you yesterday. Yes, we're still going to Paris, I promise. Love you too. That woman bankrupt me yet.
The makeup girl started doing Stan's makeup, his hair, and tightening his toupee.
You're on in 10.
Stan greeted his audience with a couple of jokes and local news highlights.
I know my young audience has been waiting for this night. Right here on my stage is the Storm.
The audience went wild, applauding and cheering. Went out on the stage in a tall suit with jet black hair, spiked in every direction, eye makeup so he looked like an Egyptian mummy, dressed in a bodysuit so tight he walked funny, with a split down the front showing off his hairy chest, and a tattoo of a lightning bolt that started at the top and disappeared into his crotch. He screamed out unintelligible words while banging away on his guitar, a cacophony of sound.
Wow, that was great. You really rocked the house. High five. You bring him in on our anniversary show.
Hey, my man Stan.
Have a seat. Mike, bring this man a cola.
It took a few minutes for the singer to sit, as his outfit was so tight he could barely bend without letting out a belch every now and then.
So I hear you're off to Europe for a music tour. You hear you are really popular over there.
Yeah,
Breathing heavily, putting on his costume to get some breathing room. Mike hands him a cola. As soon as he sipped it, he spewed it out, as he could not breathe and swallow at the same time. He stood up, peeling out of his top like peeling a banana.
that's better.
Sat down with his bare chest showing, cat whistles. Audience.
Did you belong to a band, The Losers?
The Loose. Bad name, everyone got it wrong. Don't matter, I went belly up after our second albums. Guys always fighting. Look away.
Where did you come up with your name?
I was driving back from a gig in San Francisco, hit a bad storm, and a bolt of lightning drove me off the road. I sat there stunned. Then it hit me. I survived this storm. Right in hay, and it stopped.
Yeah. You still married to that little hot number I saw you with last summer?
Which one? Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies, and they love me. Nah, she moved on with a big fat alimony check.
So who are you dating now?
Any bae that got money and good looks doesn't hurt.
So I hear you are cutting a new album.
Yeah, recording it in London. I'll hit statesides by the fall.
Mike walks out and whispers in Stan's ear.
Commercial break.
What's going on?
The senator is getting antsy back here, and he said you promised him more airtime.
Look, I only have 5 minutes left to plug in this pothead's latest album. He has one more song and he's off.
I'll try and hold the fort back here.
Storm gets up on the stage in nothing but his Speedos at this point and belts out another song. The audience went wild. Just then, a gorgeous blonde dressed in a mini dress comes out on the stage and grabs Storm by the hair.
You two-timing son of a bitch left me at the hotel. Said you'd be right back.
Vicky, ease up. I told you I had a gig tonight. You were
I saw
sleeping when
her.
I left.
I saw her.
Oh,
The ex-model Bonita from Argentina. You said you were through with her.
I am, baby.
Well, not according to her. She came to our room looking for you, flashing a diamond ring in my face.
Hey, that's old stuff. She just can't get over me. I have that effect on women.
He continues to scratch his face, pull his hair, Security was called in to pull her off from him. And by the time they reached her, she had pulled what was left of his costume off of him as he stood in the buff, with the audience screaming for more.
Commercial break!
Scene 7, politics. A very disgruntled senator walks out on the stage. The audience was quiet. What?
Kind of a show are you running here, Panic? Women and naked men running across the camera? I was told this was an up and up operation. I have my family and constituents to think of, you know?
Here, Senator Bigelow, have a nice mug of tea. It will calm you down. I must say, you look much bigger in person.
Stan gives her the look.
I mean, much taller. Much taller.
Well, I do work out, you know, at the gym. Meet a lot of my fans there.
Hey, Pops, what do you think about the age as a factor?
Storm had walked back on dressed in a three-piece suit. He almost looked human.
Well, young man, I've seen a lot in my many years in Washington. It's a different world today. You know, nothing is better than a good old experience. My granddaddy was a congressman in Kentucky, runs in my blood.
So, what do you think about the current state of affairs? There is enough of them.
I think we need to go back to family values, coal oil, railroads and farming, mom at home with an apron and apple pie.
Look, Pops, I get you, but those days are gone. The younger people want personal freedom, choices to make that suit them, marry who they want when they want, wear the clothes and slogans that tell the world who they are.
I don't get it. First, the girls want to be like the boys, and the boys want to be like the girls. Who's left to have the kids, raise the families?
I think they still know how to procreate.
I see you are strong on beefing up the police department, calling out National Guards for all those riots we had this summer.
Yeah, our forefathers had guards when they rallied and gave speeches.
With black powder muskets. You don't want a police state?
But I do if I'm reelected. I will put America back on the map again.
Did I miss something? I didn't think we went anywhere.
What's your stance on global warming?
Not worried. We're supposed to have a record snowfall this year.
My God, sir, you are the most uninformed man I know. I should take you on one of my tours. Do you want to meet the common man face to face?
Senator Bigelow pulls out a bunch of posters to show Stan and the audience.
Why you look 10 years younger in those?
It's a wonder what a little Photoshop will do.
We'll be sure we get those out to our business department.
Looks like some of those audience members would like some.
A little boy walks up on the stage and whispers in Stan's ear. He takes a poster and walks back to his seat.
If I'm not being too bold, what did the little guy say?
He said he needed your face to scare off the squirrels out of his bird feeder.
Oh,
The senator talked more policy as the audience members could be seen falling to sleep. Stan had his band play a jazzy number to perk things up, and Senator Bigelow showed Stan and Storm his latest golf swing. Things were going along rather smoothly when Senator Bigelow's 9-iron flew out of his hand, hitting a little old lady seated in the front row.
Commercial break. Hey, Storm, is Is this your duffel bag down here? I found your sequin knickers in there.
Yeah, why?
I found it in the green room, and the name tag on it says Dr. Dennis Hamilton, clinical psychologist. Do you know him?
I suppose we share the same birthday.
Scene 8. Those dance steps. Pete and Tilly sitting in an uptown bar discussing their plans for the 25th anniversary show as they're planning on party crashing Stan's celebration.
Are you ready for this weekend? I've been busy getting the posters printed for the audience. Did you get the right wig this time? I have to look 10 years younger.
Stop worrying, Pete. Who could forget your mug?
I remember a time when you thought I was top of the line.
You still are, but you kind of got lost in the shuffle. This is a more competitive world, hon.
I hope I remember the dance routine. I'm okay. I'll have to twirl you around. My back keeps going out.
Don't forget to wear the back brace I bought you. And please, buy a new suit. That tux you have is getting threadbare. Ronnie will be playing the bass cello for you. It's the best I could do on such short notice.
Short notice. You've been planning our comeback since last year. And to think I'm the one that got Stan his big break. And how does he repay me? Not.
Stop. That's enough. I'm tired of the same old complaints. You want to get back on Broadway? Then you've got to fight your way back. What's with all this whining? Did you get rid of those bananas?
Bananas. Oh, yeah.
And I've been meaning to ask you about this receipt for a case of cola. You know I don't drink that stuff, Pete.
Act 2. Coming up. Rumors. This was the week of the big celebration. You could see posters and billboards lit up with all the headliners in the show on the night of promised fun and fireworks along the New York skyline.
I gotta tell you, boss, the PBC is sending one of the execs' nieces out to watch the show and to keep you on the straight and narrow.
You know what she looks like?
You got me. It's all hush hush. So we gotta watch our backs.
Silky. Let me look at that lineup again.
He hands him the itinerary for the show.
Two have pulled out already. Better money, they claim.
Jack Back, comedian on the way out, and Lillian Lestrada from the Met.
She was supposed to sing the national anthem.
I'll get Marcy up there. That girl's got the pipes. It's okay.
Silky. Silky. Where did Silky go? We can't hear her. Silky is reading the performers that will be on that night. The Storm, Manhattan Drum Corps, New York City Ballet, the Great Zesto Illusion Show, intermission. Then comes Senator Bigelow, Gina Contrell reading Hamlet, and Pip and Peep.
Pip and Peep. Sounds familiar. Should I know them?
Supposedly they are from Italy and do a dance and comedy skit. They're very popular with the kids.
I don't know, Mike. And who is this Duffy? Dusty.
Now, Country Western says she won the CMA award last year.
Never heard of her. And where's my female rocker, Finks? She was my only main draw for the Dog and the Pony show.
She wants more money, plain and simple.
Don't we all? Get her on the phone.
I have the refreshments set up. Sorry, I had to go get the refreshments. I had the refreshments set up for the gang in the hallway and the green room. We also have 2 security people checking and everything as it comes in.
Good. This has to go off without a hitch if we want to keep the show.
Scene 2, behind the scenes. It was chaotic backstage. Animals, singers, kids on drums, bugles blaring, wardrobe and makeup people chasing down their clients, dogs, poodles, accordions. Wait a minute, something isn't adding up.
Hey, Silky, where's the performance list? All of a sudden we have a deluge of performers and something isn't right.
I can't find Stan to straighten this out.
He's on the phone with Marcy. She's threatening to break up with him.
Of all the nights to pull that stunt.
And it is a stunt, too. She's spoiled rotten. It's better off without her.
Excuse me, where's the restroom?
I'm sorry, miss, but this is staff only back here. The restrooms are out in the lobby.
A tall, good-looking woman, adorned in expensive jewelry and a designer evening gown, stared down at him. So, it is. I'm sorry. I got lost in the crowd. She walks away.
Silky, did you see her?
The model?
Yeah, model my foot. She's the spy. I just know it. It's sent out here by the PBC.
Don't be so paranoid.
She's got a camera in that little purse of hers. I bet you anything.
Mike,
Yeah, boss.
we were on in less than 10 minutes, and Jim, I can't find that damn monkey.
I brought some extra bananas. I'll go get her. Thank goodness. Look, young lady, you are with me until we find Jim.
And there is a no-show on the opera singer. Who's going to sing the anthem? Marcy is out.
Auditorium was filled to capacity. Stan walked out, thanked everyone for coming. They had a raffle for a brand new Cadillac to be given away to a lucky winner after the show. He went backstage, swearing under his breath about no one to sing the anthem, when quietly a tiny little woman in a sequin gown and a long American flag, all in glitter, worn as a cape, entered the stage. She was wearing a mask, so no one could see her face. An elderly gentleman joined her as he sat with a large cello and began to play. You could tell he was an accomplished musician. When she began to sing, you could have heard a pin drop. Her voice was as clear as a bell and so melodic. Audience members were tearing up before she was through. Then there was silence.
Where did she come from? Miss.
He reached out to her, but she swept past him.
Silky, who was that?
I believe that was Peep, the other part of Pip from Italy. Boy, can she sing.
Just then, Storm went chasing through the wardrobe room after Peg. She had a sequin jockstrap.
Jim better get this animal under control.
But boss, I locked her in.
Get a chain and wrap it around the lock with a padlock.
If I didn't know better, boss, I think someone is letting her out on purpose.
Senator Bigelow opened the ceremonies with a way too long speech. The audience started dozing off when they woke up to the local drum and bugle corps playing with proud parents waving flags in the audience. It was so loud you couldn't hear yourself think. Everything went off without a hitch till the conductor found Lester the boa wrapped around his baton and wouldn't let go. Commercial break. Jim to the rescue with more, you guessed it, fried chicken. The snake was not happy when he saw a little pink poodle dressed in a tutu grab some of the chicken and run off into the back dressing room.
Miss, are you lost again?
No, I was trying to catch him. Thornton autograph. I've been watching his nature show since I was a kid.
Nice. Well, you might want to wait until after the show. I can have one of our ushers show you back to your seat.
Would you mind standing in front of the python's cage so I can get a nice memento of the show? And while I'm here, one of the cute monkeys eating bananas. Just then, Peg spit a big juicy wad of banana in the young woman's face. Shh! It's gonna cost them more. It wasn't in a contract, this abuse.
Did you say contract?
Oh yes. I'm working on more designs out of Paris. They want pictures with the celebrities for our magazine. Allure, you have heard of it.
I think so. But for safety reasons, I'm going to have you to go back to your seat.
Where's Storm? He's on next.
When to their horror, a white-haired lady and her little pink poodle danced a waltz across the stage while tossing stale taffy to audience members, while the old gentleman played a banjo for the little dog. There was laughter and some booing going on. Security was sent out to remove them while the little poodle bit the guard on his ankle.
That little bastard off my leg.
The angry guard could be heard to the back row.
Call animal cruelty.
A voice could be heard above the din. The model got a good picture of that, too. Stan literally threw Storm out onto the stage. The crowd went wild and things seemed to get back to normal again. Storm was followed by the great Zesto illusionist, then a commercial break as the New York City Ballet had the stage cleared for their ballet performance.
And now, New York's finest ballet company.
They were dancing to a patriotic piece with red, white, and blue costumes and American flags across the backstage. It perked up the crowd when in the middle of the performance, dancers started slipping, still trying to get their composure. There seemed to be something sticky and brown on different areas of the stage. It was getting on the dancers' tights, and it didn't look appropriate. They were trying to dance around the mess. The crescendo was when the lead dancer went to lift his partner, and he slid and fell into the brown goop. That, yes, you heard it right, was animal poop. The curtain came down mid-performance while the ballet master was screaming at the top of his lungs about suing Stan and PBC for all they were worth. The backstage crew had a matter of minutes to clean up the mess. The model got some really great shots of this fiasco. Scene 2, 3, beginning of Shakespeare. The stage crew was busy cleaning up the stage while Gina paced in the wings, going over her lines again and again.
Hamlet, thee are no art in my thou utmost thoughts. This is crap. Sylvia, my dear Sylvia.
Yes.
You have to help me. I'm lost.
In what sense are you lost?
I cannot do these lines. I need a script written in English.
Why, that is English, my dear, in its purest form.
I'm a New Yorker from the Bronx, not an English tort.
That's tart, dear.
Whatever. Please, I need your help. Could you do this piece for me?
Hey, what about Stan?
Oh, He'll understand. I'll give him free tickets to my movie and a copy of my book.
Well, that ought to thrill him. And what about me?
Oh, I'll take you out to the New York's finest restaurant, the Roman, my treat. It's a deal?
Add a bottle of aged wine and it's a deal.
They quickly ran to the dressing room where Sylvia changed into Gina's medieval dress, donning a beautiful wig and a mask as a disguise. Then Gina pushed her onto the stage.
Gina, aren't you supposed to be on?
Oh, sorry, I'm not feeling well. Excuse me.
Hey, wasn't I set to do another speech after Shakespeare?
I don't think so, buddy.
Who's running this charade?
Good question.
What are you two doing? I need help in the next act. Mike, we have a nervous pony.
He's not the only one.
Continuing on with Shakespeare. Meanwhile, Sylvia, dressed in her medieval costume, started reciting Hamlet from William Shakespeare. She cleared her throat, pacing the stage.
Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into dew. Or that everlasting had not fixed his cannon against self-slaughter. Oh God, how weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable to see me all the uses of this world.
There is an unwedded garden that grows to seed, possesses it merely, that it should come to this, things rank and gross in nature.
Let not thy mother lose her prayers, Hamlet. I pray thee stay with us.
I shall in my best obey you, madam.
As they finished the scene, surprisingly, the audience sat dead still, then broke out in rapturous applause. Sylvia went chasing after the stranger, who shared the stage with her, but he faded into the back of the set.
Where did he go? Oh, he was such a good actor. Mike, surely you can track him down.
Miss Holloway, I wish I could oblige you, but I have all that I can do to keep my wits about me right now.
Safari Jim came out on the stage with Lester and Sparky, a scarlet macaw, on his arm, and an unexpected surprise, a Siberian tiger in a cage. It was enormous and beautiful. It was to be a surprise for Stan. Every time the tiger roared, you could hear little screams from the audience, and the macaw would start squawking.
I must say, Jim, that is really something. I never knew tigers got that big.
Yeah, this is a man-eater Kawika, meaning king. He's on loan from the zoo.
I hope that cage can hold him.
Not to worry, it's reinforced steel bars.
Jim continued on, explaining to the audience all about the animals as they asked questions. It was actually one of the highlights of the show. Next up on stage, a country western singer entered, leading in a small pony, both dressed in enough red, white, and blue fringe to adorn a float. You could hear the ahs coming from the audience. The artist began to sing in a bluegrass twang, strumming on her guitar.
CMA Awards, huh? I wonder who the judge was for that night.
We can't find her contract fee anywhere, and she doesn't seem to be on the roster at all. Mike looked her up on last year's CMA show, and she was nowhere in sight.
Seriously, what the hell is going on here?
Just then, the little pony reared up and whinnied, kicking out his back legs, trying to get his costume off. The singer was terrified, not knowing what to do. Jim to the rescue.
Too bad, little fella. You'll be all right. The tiger got him spooked. Horses know who their enemies are. He'll be all right. Take him out behind the studio in some fresh air. Let him walk it off.
The model is up on the stage taking pictures of Jim and a young woman. It brought the house down with wild applause for Jim. Stan was at the back drinking some of Jim's scotch. Scene 4, Silky's surprise. Stan kept looking at his watch, waiting for this horror show to be over with.
I hate to ask who's up next. We are in the final half of this disaster.
I don't know, boss. You're not going to like this, but the Sphinx is a no-show, and this was her half of the program.
Great.
Just then, Silky grabbed the mic and whistled over to Storm.
What's up, babe?
You know, smoke on water?
I was teethed on it.
Let's rock it.
Silky got her Janis Joplin going, and Stormy followed the lead. They exploded on the stage. Stan wasn't believing his eyes.
I told you, boss, that girl was hiding that all along.
Well, it was a hard act to follow as a polka band came out and did the polka around the stage. People were laughing and clapping. Silky got audience members up on the stage to dance with her. Stan, Mike, Jim, and Sylvia all joined in. Just then the lights went out in the house, and on the stage you could hear the tigers roar in the back. Scene 5. Oh, say, can you see? 2 people walked out on the stage carrying candles. They started doing a slow waltz around the empty space. The audience was stunned. Security was all over the place trying to get the lights back up. Then there was light. There stood Pip and Pete.
Who are you people?
Your father's brother. You used to call me Pip when you were a little boy.
And Peep, your Aunt Tilly.
It got really quiet. Stan was speechless.
Uncle Pip? Is that really you? I didn't recognize you with your hair.
It's so sad that you don't remember after all these years. You used to come to my shows when you were little. I was in the top 10. Your grandpa was in vaudeville, for crying out loud. Last time you really talked to me was when your father passed. Guess I stopped being family, huh? Remember how badly you wanted to go to that music school?
Yeah. Dad paid for that.
No, your Uncle Pip did. Your dad wanted you to go to medical school. He thought the arts were a waste of your time and talent.
That wasn't where your heart was it?
No, it wasn't. But why didn't Dad ever say anything to let me know and believe that he paid for it all?
Who took you to your first tap lessons and paid for them?
You.
And your voice.
You.
And piano.
I got tangled in with a rough bunch of guys, and I had a gambling debt I couldn't pay. Your father pulled me out of that one, and I never forgot it. So I felt it was my duty to pay him back by taking care of your schooling.
Why didn't anyone ever say anything to me?
It's better you didn't know. It's all water under the bridge now.
Excuse me, boss, but I found this box with wire cutters, pooper scooper, and a bottle of Easy Lax, and a sandwich bag with marijuana in the dressing room. It was along with the original show lineup for tonight.
The audience sits enraptured in the story unfolding before them.
They're mine.
Pete, you didn't.
I'm sorry, son. I tried to sabotage your show and the celebration here. I'm such a fool. I truly am.
But why, Uncle Pete?
Remember a couple years ago, I asked if I could be a guest on your show? Your Aunt Tilly and I were trying to up the ratings. Money was tight. You said you were too booked and busy, and it wasn't the time I retired anyway. But what really hurt was when I was leaving. I overheard one of your stage hands say you told him I was all washed up.
And he started to cry.
No, I never said that. I would never say such a thing. Don't you think Dad raised me better than that? You're my Uncle Pip.
Soon, he walked over, kissing his uncle on the cheek with tears in his eyes. And Aunt Tilly joined them, all in a large embrace. Oh, say, can you
see
by the
dawn's early light?
night? Marcy was center stage in a red sequin gown. Soon the audience joined in. After, there was a standing ovation that lasted 10 minutes. Mr. Broadmoor of PCC walked out with a model and raised Stan's arm high in the air as a sign of victory. The show went down as one of the most watched talk shows in TV history. Stan and Marcy were a thing again. Pete and Tilly won the raffle that night in a brand new Cadillac. They both retired and moved to Florida. But once a year were guests on Stan's show. But most importantly, they were family once again. Oh, and one more thing. Stan won an Emmy for this show. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed our show. I want to thank our illustrious cast and say good night, Gina and Tilly and Sylvia and Pete and Stan, Mike,
Bobby Sherman,
Silky, and Byron, and last but not least, Mark. And yours truly, Patricia Rose. This has been great fun, and we are going to be posting this on YouTube. So hopefully you guys will be watching. And have a great night.